Hey guys, Taylor here. I'm the founder of WoodStitch, the Dev Corner, and a few other things as well. But anyways, today we're starting the first day of how to build a website from scratch. Today we're just going to go over basics, very simple HTML, kind of the basic format of HTML. So this is really oriented towards people who aren't familiar with HTML. If you are a little bit familiar with it, you can probably just skip to day 2 or day 3. It's going to be really simple. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks.
So day 1 of building a website from scratch. Today we're just going to go over getting our first HTML page, writing our first HTML page, just a little bit about HTML, kind of the very basics of it. We're going to keep it really simple. So the website we're building is called that'sridiculous.biz. It's just going to be a simple kind of fun website where people can upload ridiculous images and then vote on the most ridiculous image. And the more ridiculous the image, the bigger it gets. So it's really simple, really easy and fun, but it'll kind of get us acclimated to HTML, PHP, JavaScript, all that fun stuff. But today we're just going to go over HTML. So it's really easy. We do need some sort of text editor in order to write our code. So if you don't have a text editor, I'd highly recommend Notepad++. Just go ahead and download it. You can get it on any operating system. And in this tutorial you can follow along if you're on Windows, Mac, Linux, whatever. You can use Notepad++. So on your desktop, go ahead and create a folder called ridiculous, and then create a file within that folder called index.html. Index.html is kind of just the default website file that we use whenever we create a website. I'm actually going to use an editor called Vim. I highly recommend it once you are become advanced development, but for starting out it's probably just too hard to learn. So to start off, we're going to declare what's called a Doctype, which basically just lets the browser know that we're going to be using HTML. Don't worry too much about this. So to go ahead and write our first bit of actual HTML, we use this. It's a greater than sign, I think. And then we type the name of the tag. So this is an HTML tag. Every tag is opened with a less than sign and closed with a greater than sign, I think. So that itself is a tag. Now, almost all tags have an opening tag and a closing tag, and it looks like just like this. So there's the opening tag. You know what, let me make this a little bit bigger in case you can't quite see. Alright, make it real big. So there's the opening tag, and there's the closing tag. So it's as simple as that. This makes up an element. If we put stuff in here, this is called the body. So here we have an HTML element. Here's the body inside of that element. Now, within this HTML, we're going to put another HTML element called body. So body is another HTML element that we embed inside of the bigger HTML element. So almost every HTML page is going to look just like this. This is basically the standard template for HTML. We can say, hey, how are you? Now to run our actual HTML, it's very simple. Open up your ridiculous folder, right-click your index.html file, and just go open with Google Chrome. And we open it up, and you can see here's our web. This is actually an actual web page. If you right-click and click View Page Source, you can see that there's our code. So this is the very basics of HTML. And all it is just a bunch of various elements that we're using. And you can find a list of elements on the devcorner.com. And so we'll build off of here. So another HTML element we can use is, we'll say, a div element. And we'll say that's ridiculous.biz. I had to get biz because .com was taken, unfortunately. I'm going to delete that. Another element we'll do is form. And so we can open, that's the start of the form, and then the end of the form. And the other thing we have here in HTML is what's called an attribute. So attributes are just that. They're attributes that you can put inside side of basically the opening and closing here of a tag. So you can say form, we can give the form a name, for example. We'll just call it image form, I don't know. And then inside the form we can have other HTML elements, and we can say, so here's another attribute. We can say label for equals image title. Say enter a ridiculous title for your image, and then we end the label. Okay, and then we can write another one and say input type equals text, name equals image title. So you'll notice that we're saying this is the label for this image title. And then we'll give this a value. No, actually, no value. Okay, so we'll write, just to give you an idea of what this looks like. Oops, that's the actual. So enter your ridiculous image, and here's a text field where people will actually be able to enter their title for the ridiculous image. And we'll create another field here, put another label, but we'll name the label image file, and we'll say enter your image, say to upload, so they can upload an image. And again, we'll change this to image file. So one thing that you'll notice about HTML is, so almost all the elements we've worked with, we've had it's kind of confusing because we have HTML element, we have a body element, we have a div or divider element, we have a form element, and you can see there they all have an opening tag, a body, and a closing tag. But some elements aren't allowed to have this body. And you can see, for example, one of those elements is an input. It doesn't have a body, so it doesn't have a closing tag, which means we have to end it with a little backslash. Same thing here. So if it's not allowed to have a body, we just end it like this. For the rest of the elements, there's a body, so you have an opening tag and a closing tag. Simple as that. We also need to put an input type equals submit. We'll give it a value. Upload image. Alright, just to give you an idea what that looks like. It's very simple, so as we continue to develop, this will become a form where a person enters a ridiculous image, title for their image, then clicks upload, and the upload will upload their image to our website, and it will display it, and they'll be able to vote on it. So that's about all I'm going to cover for day one. Just going to keep it really simple. Thanks, guys.